Welcome to Northwynd 2, Episode 5. In this episode, I'm going to be doing the Fire Caves Part 1 in Three Barrel Cove, and I am level 5. I'm choosing this quest because at this level range, Three Barrel Cove has some of the best XP in the game. And, years ago, this was horrible XP, but a few years ago they redid things, and now we got some named loot out here, and the XP is just awesome. So you want to make sure you don't skip Three Barrel Cove, level 5, 6-ish. Let's take a look at where things are. And let's start with quests. So, I joined a pug last night and did a few Sharn Syndicate quests, and then Irestone and the Depths Chain. That was really cool. And I was pegged against level at that point. I had to take level 5. Well, I was almost, and I was been really struggling this life with inventory space. I only had 3 bag spaces, so I really wanted to get that first tier of Coin Lord favor. So then I did a couple more Coin Lord quests on my own. Did the first couple in the Sharn Syndicate chain. I had joined the group in progress, so they were like on the last 2 parts by the time I joined them. And then let's see what else. By the time I did a couple more Coin Lords, I was just a few points away. So I did a couple of the Lobby solo only quests, Home Sweet Sewer and Miller's Debt, to get me over that 75 favor threshold to open up another bag space. So that was really important. Over here I didn't purchase bag spots, so starting with 3 bags is really tight, so that 4th one is huge. What have I done this level though? I did Chamber of Insanity and Lair of Summoning and House Case. You're going to make sure you hit those to get your K favor, which is going to open up extra bank space. And then I came out here to Three Barrel Cove, and I did Ghost of a Chance. So I did pretty well. Doing well soloing these R1s. Everything, unless I say otherwise, is going to be R1 at base level for maximum Reaper XP. I'm so pleased with my performance on R1 so far that at this point I'm really starting to think about maybe stepping it up to R2. I haven't tried any yet. I have a feeling that Fire Caves might be a little bit too much on R2 for me, but I'm just going to keep it to R1 and we'll see what happens. So I would have liked to have done Two-Toed Tobias out here, but because it's like all skeletons, that would have been really tough for me to solo. I posted an LFM, nobody joined, so I'm going to forego that one. As only a second lifer, I don't need as much XP to level, so it's not a big deal to skip one like that. I mean, you can see I'm already 3 ranks into level 6, so I'm already ready to take level, and I got this huge XP, 2 huge XP quests to go in the Fire Caves Part 1 and 2. Next, we're going to take a look at enhancements. So, got the Call Lightning maxed out. And I saw Call Lightning critting for over 500 this evening on R1, so that's pretty cool. I'm able to 1 or 2 shot Reapers. If you get some, if you get a Reaper, you get a champion, you double shot them with the SLA of Call Lightning and then the regular version of Call Lightning, and that really does a lot of damage, and that can take a lot of mobs out right there. I mean, some mobs I'm one-shotting with just the SLA, so that's been really cool. I've got the crit chance up here, up to the tier 3 of that, a point of wisdom. I actually add an odd wisdom right now, so I don't really need that. I probably should respec and spend that elsewhere, but I didn't. So that's all that's new there. And I got my 3rd Reaper point. Woohoo! And so I have it spent here in a point of Constitution, and I have a point of PRR. So if I didn't have my dodge maxed out, I would want to go for the dodge. But I actually have it maxed out, so I'm good to go there. 5,000 to go for my next Reaper point. Probably won't hit that till like level 7 or 8. We'll see. I want to mention the wolf. and I learned something since I last talked about the wolf, and that is, I mentioned how like I wasn't sure about proficiencies for armor, because it used to be the case that they could wear medium and heavy armor, but it looks like now that it's only light armor. In the wiki entry, it says that the wolf is classified as a fighter, but maybe that was changed in update 38, because when I examine the wolf now, you can see it says Ranger 5. Okay, and the way that we can test proficiency is look at the PRR. If you're not proficient in the armor you're wearing, you won't get PRR from it. So right now he has PRR 5. I take the armor off, and it's 0. I'm going to put on the medium armor, and he doesn't get any PRR from that. So that's telling me he's not proficient. So I'm going to be going with the light armor, and this is just something I found in the auction house. Fire absorption 10 and axe block 2, though, that's pretty nice. The fire absorption will be handy in fire caves, right? And I also had this, found this Vorpal Collar, which is pretty damn cool. I don't like that it has Insight 8% on it. As I mentioned before, I really don't want the wolf to get extra aggro. It's not a big deal that the wolf dies now. You don't suffer a hit point or spell point loss like prior to update 38. But nonetheless, I don't want my wolf grabbing a bunch of aggro and dying all the time. Now, I have been pretty happy with the wolf performance, and I don't even have augment summoning, and I only have 1 Druid past life. The Druid past life gives him +2 to all ability scores per stack. Of course, I only have 1 Druid past life. But I've been so pleased with the performance. At first I was just running him on passive or defensive, like if something attacks me, then he would attack it. But now, these last couple quests, I've been setting the wolf to aggressive and having him go out and fight stuff. And he's holding up pretty well. I mean, I've got to throw him some heals. There's no doubt about that. He does take some upkeep, but definitely worth having out. And I have enjoyed running with the wolf. I'm surprised about that. So that's been cool. On the enhancement side for the wolf, like I've said before, you really want to stay away from things that are going to make the wolf get extra aggro. Your wolf is going to get beat up pretty quickly. In DDO, your wolf is just not tough enough to be out there tanking mobs. So I'm choosing Cunning Wolf, and that reduces the wolf's aggro, and I got up to tier 2 now. I also got the tier 2 Wolf Instincts, which increase saves versus traps. Got some Thick Fur for some extra hit points. The Wolfpack Bite for extra sneak attack damage, and Striding 2. So that's where I'm at with the wolf. On the spell side, I do have the regular version of Call Lightning now. And, like I said, that's a really powerful spell, and when you're double tapping mobs with the SLA and the regular version, it's massive damage and totally awesome. I also picked up Spider Skin. I am kind of a tankier build. I want to max out my defenses as much as I reasonably can, so this is giving me some extra natural armor. And of course, Druids get all the Summon Nature's Ally spells, so I'm going to be using the Lioness is what I like to use for Summon Nature's Ally 3. Let's see what else. I have Bull Strength. Having a little bit of strength is good at low levels because it increases your encumbrance, the amount of stuff you can carry before you get into like a medium and heavy load. You don't want to walk around with anything beyond a light load because that's going to slow you down. And then, I've got, I think I mentioned last time, Cure Light Wounds as an emergency heal. And that's kind of the best I can fit in right now. But I've got potions, I've got wands, and I've got Cure Light Wounds if I need something fast. It's healing me for like, I don't know, maybe 40 or so not bad. And the regular version of Creeping Cold. Unmaximized, unempowered, no metas applied to it. If I need to spam something, I can hit that. So, it's just, let's see, 6 spell points for unmaximized, unempowered, unquickened, and, that can be nice if I need to hit multiple targets for low mana cost. For the regular version of Call Lightning, I do have all the metas applied to it. I'm only using that in sort of more urgent situations, emergency situations. There's a champion, there's a Reaper. Other than that, I stick to the SLA version of it. You might like to load up an unmaximized, unempowered version. That's up to you. But I feel pretty good about having just really just sticking to the SLA and using the regular fully meted just when I really need it. Okay, let's take a look at the gear. I feel pretty good about where the gear is. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I have most of the basics covered. So let's start with one piece of gear that I'm pretty excited about, which is the Vibrant Purple Moonstone. This has Archmagi at level 5 and Spell Pen 3. I don't need that. I don't have any spells at this point with Spell Pen check. And even later on, there's only going to be a couple of them. But Spell Penetration not so important on a caster Druid. But in any event, this is big spell points at level 5. This is something that I got when I was farming out the Pale Lavender Moonstone before I reincarnated, and so I originally had posted this on the auction house, but then I was like, no, I think I'll keep it. That'll be really nice to have some big spell points, and that does have to be upgraded at the Dream Forge inside the quest Dreaming Dark with the Crystal Disc of Dreams. And since I'm mentioning that Moonstone, I'll also mention the Pale Lavender, which is what I was just saying I farmed for, and that's something that also has to be upgraded. And this is, you know, just a clutch spell absorption item. Spell absorption has always been important. It is now more important than ever. You know, when you see a Famine Reaper, the first thing you should do is equip your spell absorption. Famine Reapers are the deadliest Reapers. Their spells can really wipe you out. But if you put on spell absorption, you're pretty much nullifying them. So you really, you know, if you're not already used to that, get used to, like, the moment you see a Famine Reaper, that's the first thing you do, is you put on your spell absorption. Pale Lavender, one of the best in the game, and for me, knowing that I was going to do all Reaper mode, this was really an essential item for me to have. And at this point, the other piece of spell absorption that I have is another level 5 piece of gear, the Mantle of the World Shaper. This comes out of the Threnal Chain, guaranteed in the end reward for the chain reward, and that has 5 charges of spell absorption on it. Also, the Voice of the Master, you know, I can equip that to get my bonus 5% XP. Just in case you don't know, you can put your Voice of the Master, and this comes from the Delira's End Chain, guaranteed on the chain reward list. You can put the Voice of the Master and a Mantle of the World Shaper, along with 5 greater tokens of the 12, those are the tokens you get from raids, into the Epic Altar in the 12, and you can create a plus 5% XP colorless augment, which is minimum level 1. I really thought about chewing my mantle and my voice up to do that, but I didn't want to farm out those again, so and since I'm only second lifer, I think I'll be okay without having that all on 5% XP. We'll just equip the voice at the end of each quest. What else? Okay, the necklace. I've got Evocation Focus 1 on there. I didn't find anything better. The Sheltering is redundant. I have Sheltering 4 here, but that's also redundant with another piece of gear. But I got Resistance 2. I really wanted to have a Resistance item, so that gives me +2 bonus to all my saves. Here I have Wisdom 2 on the goggles. I'd like to have a little, you know, 3 or 4 even. Well, I guess 3 at this level range. But that's the best I could find. This armor I selected largely because it had a blue slot. The Impulse is meaningless to me. It actually will help, though, I guess next level when I get the Salt Ray SLA. So that's actually not bad. Cold Resistance 10, not a big deal. But it had the blue slot, and I wanted to get the Sapphire Moderate Fortification in there. Fortification is so critical to have. Do not blow off fortification. Don't wait until you get heavy, you know, from your Minos Legends or whatever at level 11. Like, you got to have as much fortification as early as possible. And at level 4, you can use the Sapphire of Moderate Fortification for 75% fortification. And you can get, if you don't have one, you can get a Sapphire of Moderate Fortification from some of the collectibles traders in the marketplace for 8 shards. So that's what I did, and there it is. Got my Bracious of Wind. Just love this item. Can't say enough good things about it. And that's the same as last level. And let's see, Constitution 2, False Life 8 on the ring. So I used to have False Life on the little Necklace of Contemplation that had False Life 10, but I wanted to move things around. I've got False Life 8 here. That's good enough. Still got the... oh, this is new boots, actually. So these still have striding 15%. These had a guard and a colorless slot, so I didn't have anything to put in that slot, but I wanted to have a striding item. That's going to be... probably my boot slot is going to be striding for the rest of of the series. Here the resonance is meaningless, spell lore 2%. I guess that's really only beneficial to my cold. No, actually it's actually meaningless at this point. I should have something else on there, but I haven't really found anything better because I've got lore covered elsewhere. For my electric lore that is covered there, my fire lore is covered here, and my cold lore is covered here. This is a nice little ring for this level range. Glaciation 42 and ice lore 6%. I was pretty happy to find that. On the belt, we got dodge 3 and strength 3. Again, having a little bit of strength so you're not running around really slow because you're encumbered all the time is nice to have. If you don't have a strength item, just use bull strength. I still carry bull strength even though I'm using a strength item because sometimes I like casting it on my summons and my wolf. Cloak of Flames. I love it. It's got my fire lore and combustion taken care of, and the extra AC is nice. And I guess that's all I'm gonna say there. Let's get to the quest. As you're making your way out to Three Barrel Cove quests, it's not a bad idea to get into the habit of checking the Strinati hand cannon chest, which is right out here. I believe that this guy is always up. And he's going to spawn right about here. And this is an unbound, well, it's bind on equip. Yeah, here he is. And, you know, if you're looking to maybe make a little plat on the shard exchange, or maybe even a few shards, you can sell the hand cannon. It's a rare drop. And it's rare enough to fetch a little bit of plat or a little bit of shards even, perhaps, depending on the economy of your server. And it's really easy to check that while you're out here. I actually picked up one last run as I was running out to Ghost of a Chance, so I'm going to try posting that, get a little bit for it. Alright, on to Fire Caves. Alright, R1 Fire Caves. Part 1, Stones Run Red. A couple other pieces of gear that I want to mention is having Wands of Cure Serious Wounds, which you can start using at level 5. Heal yourself, your wolf, and others. So make sure you have the best ones that you can use. I also picked up some potions of protection from evil. This can protect you from mental compulsions like being held, or not, excuse me, not being held, but being commanded. So, you know, if you're fighting some mobs that are commanding you, that's really irritating. You can just quaff a potion of protection from evil, and that'll protect you from that. I don't know if there's anything else worth mentioning. If I didn't mention before, I did pick up some Gems of the Ocean Wind cheap off the auction house. That's a very powerful summon to have. Those come out of Three Barrel Cove. I haven't farmed for them. I didn't want to take time to do that, but as I'm finding cheap ones at the auction house, it's definitely a worthwhile investment if I need to have a strong summon out. Probably should pick up a Wand of Bull Strength to use on my summons and my wolf to save some mana. That would have been a good idea. Get Wands of Bull Strength from right there in the middle of the marketplace. I don't have anything to fight these with, so just gonna take my time. They're immune to cold and fire, so just gotta wait for the SLA of Call Lightning to come off cooldown, and take him out. Oh, I also picked up some scrolls of Fire Shield. Fire Shield is huge. You want to make sure you have those starting at level 5. You know, they can mitigate 50% fire or cold damage, so situationally it is a giant spell. And later on I'll pick up the regular version, but for now, here's a Reaper. I'm going to go ahead and use the regular version of Call Lightning, and then the SLA. Drop some little weeds for them to slow down in. And they've nearly killed my wolf. Took out my lioness. The summons are really nice. You know, not only do maybe they add a little bit extra DPS, but that's not really the main reason why I have them out. They are a distraction. You know, they can grab mobs aggro, and mobs will be focused on them instead of you. And if they're taking hits, you're not. And you know, it's kind of buggy with the summons that mobs will keep attacking them even when they're dead for, you know, sometimes up to, you know, maybe even like 30 seconds or a minute even. Come down here, get your 2 collectibles and your chest. When I did the Northwynd, there's another collectible hiding there in the rocks. I guess that's, I don't know, a bug or something. And when I did the first Northwynd series, the new Canis crafting system had just come out, so collectibles were just the hottest thing in the game, so I was able to sell them for, you know, make some plat. That was a big part of how, you know, I made some of the early plat in that game, or I was trading them too. I was actually able to negotiate some pretty good trades with collectibles, but I'm kind of sorry that I did that now because, you know, I have 106 crafting levels, and that's enough to craft a few things. So now I kind of wish I had, there's that double tap of Call Lightning, takes a Reaper right out. I used the Petrifying Runestone, that's a craftable, super cheap to make, to stone that caster. You don't need to have high crafting levels to be able to craft those. And with my 106 crafting levels, I'm happy that I'll be able to craft every tier all the way up to the level 17 versions of those when I get there. But yeah, since I, you know, traded away and sold most of my collectibles in the first series, I don't have much to work with, so I can't craft a ton of stuff with just 100 levels, but I can craft enough. One thing that I really would like to be able to craft, but I just don't have, you know, don't have the levels for it, is an invulnerability item that would give me DR5, which is pretty nice at this level range. But I have to make do without it. That's part of what this series is about, is, you know, working with, you know, what little I have. Now I'm certainly working with more than I had in the first series, but, you know, that's where you're at when you're on your second life. Oh no, the wolf is dead. I bet he went down into the lava. I don't even see. There he is. Yep, went down in the lava. Oh. We're gonna use some. He's got a permanent dot on him. You can log out and log back in. With the wolf, I bet if I dismiss him and if you get that on yourself, you want to log out and log back in. If you get a permanent dot, it's a bug. It's a known issue. They're working on it, but it's been a known issue for a while. So okay, I guess I can't resummon the wolf until after I rest. I'm gonna bring out another lioness. having spent some time, you know, getting the bracers and the cloak, I'm starting to get really starting to get back into things with this tune. It was I guess it just took me a few levels to get back into it, and so I'm really enjoying playing this tune again at this point, and really looking forward to seeing what I can do with her. This doing Reapers on a second lifer, you know, with so few, with, you know, next to no Reaper points, is kind of a newer experience for me. It is a new experience for me, so it really helps to get a feel for things better at, you know, at this point. You know, of the build, so if other newer players are asking me like, hey, you know, do you think I can do Reaper mode if I'm just starting out? And I'll be like, check out this series. I think where things are going to turn into a very serious struggle is when I tried to do like R1s once I get to epics. I think that's going to be really tough. I remember struggling, you know, once I got into epics, struggling soloing those on epic elite. So doing them on R1, you know, at that point I'm hoping to have would love to have 10 Reaper points by the time I hit epics, but doing these low skulls, that, you know, I might be closer to like 6 or 7 Reaper points. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna summon a lion, hope that he survives. Before you shrine is a great time to burn up a little extra mana, throw some buffs on others, summon a, you know, summon your lioness. You can buff it, bull strength, spider skin. I think, do they take spider skin? Yeah. And after I rest, oh, I can also burn up, you know, like my cure mana on my cure light wounds to heal myself. And after I rest, I believe I'll be able to summon the wolf again. But I think I'm going to wait till I get out of the lava before I do that. And hopefully the lioness doesn't die in the lava. Hello, Mirage. Yeah, Stixie and Ogre there. Let's see if we can stone him. Hell yeah! Petrifying Runestone for the win. I hit him with that Ogre with all the SLAs. Had him nearly taken out by the time he got to me. 550 on the Call Lightning. Did you see that? It's awesome. Love it. Those ogres hit hard when they do like their triple hit. You get a champion ogre triple hit you, wipe you right out. It's happened to me so many times that it's damn near traumatizing. Shrine over there. I'm not going to bother unlocking it, but I could unlock it if I really needed it. I do have a short stack of bells of opening, but not going to need that, I don't think. Hellhounds. Creepy Cold SLA. Let's do the unmeted version right there. Ooh, 2 champs. It's toit. I don't want anything to do with those guys. I do want that lost soul though. Ogre Shimon. Petrifying Runestone? Oh, he saved. It's not going to hit every time, but the DC is good enough to make it worthwhile. And the Creeping Cold will take him out. If Mirage doesn't first, good dog. Collectible down here. Don't jump around here because you might bounce off that and fall down. You can just run around like that. Collectible. Yoink. We'll range the boss from here. As he blasts us with Flame Strike. Flame Strike can be terrifying at this level. Especially if it's a champion. Flame Strikes do half fire damage and half good damage, and the good damage, you know, you can mitigate that with MRR, but you know, like Fire Shield won't. You know, but Fire Shield is helpful against Flame Strike because, like I said, half of it's fire damage. Coming up here to get my collectible because collectibles are so valuable. Boom. Let's see. Now we want to come over here and kill that last altar. 22,000, almost 23,000, and a final collectible down here, and that is just monster XP. 13 minutes, not bad. It could be done a lot faster than that if you're not jaw-jacking. Well, thanks for watching. As always, if you have any questions about my videos, you can respond on YouTube. And if you have any questions about my build, you can respond to my build post in the Druid forums.